Welcome to the 11th episode of Generation Gap Book Reviews. I'm Christy the mom.
And I'm Lena the daughter.
I almost forgot what it was called when I started it there
I
for a
realized
moment.
that.
In this episode, we are reviewing a young adult speculative fiction book called Nightfall by Jake Halpern and Peter Kujawinski, or something like that.
Yeah, we're great at this.
Not really. And okay, so this book I actually have had, I've owned it for several years. It was one of the many that we have that I think your dad actually probably saw it at a Goodwill or something like that and pointed it out to me. I looked it up on Goodreads, as I often will do if I'm trying to decide if I want to buy a book, even if it is only a couple dollars. And this one had a pretty low rating overall. I think it was below my normal threshold for on Goodreads, thinking that it's worth me getting, but the synopsis really did intrigue me, and I'm pretty sure your dad was basically like, well, then get it. You just go ahead and get it. Well, give it a try. I mean, it sat on my shelf for a while, and as you started to get more into reading, I remember thinking you might enjoy it, and I think I had planned to read it so that I could, recommend it to you and decide if I thought you should read it or not. And then you beat me to it.
I saw it on the shelf and I was like, this was probably during the start of my reading, when I was getting into reading. And so I was like, ooh, this cover looks interesting. Cause I'm also I want to get into horror. So from the cover alone, I was just like, maybe it's horror. And then the back of the book says something like an expert from the book, and it has some it looks like it's horror.
An expert from the book?
Excerpt. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what
you said. I thought you said expert. I don't know. I could be wrong. So it looked interesting.
It looked interesting and it sounded interesting. So then I think I asked you, ended up asking 3 times if I could read it, and then you finally ended up looking into it.
And then you read it and you liked it and you told me I should read it.
Yeah. And then I forgot most of the things you were talking about when you were reading it. You were telling me things. I'm like, oh yeah.
Which bodes real well for this book review podcast.
I skimmed through it. I read.
You had to remind yourself of it.
I reminded myself.
All right. Well, what this book is about is it is set in a world where the day and night cycle is a total of 28 years. So there are 14 days of day and 14 days of night. Oh my goodness.
Years.
I'm going to do that a lot.
I know.
Just so you know. 14 years of day and 14 years of night. And the people that are the main people group in this story, they basically travel based on the sun. And when it's daytime, they live on this island called Bliss. But when night starts to come on, they leave the island, and because the island is going to turn into a cold, icy, inhospitable place. And so they only have a small window of time to leave once the sun starts to set. Actually, the sun's pretty much setting for years, or at least months anyway. I don't remember exactly how it works, but when it's close to setting, they have a small window of time to leave, because when the night comes on, the tide also goes out from around the island for miles. So they have to leave. They have to leave in the perfect timing, and there are furriers that make a they have a route there they go on, and they come to the island at the right time to take all the people. And but they have that small window of time to leave with the furriers. Otherwise, they miss the ship, and that's it for 14 years. Well,
and you're dead.
Well, presumably. I mean, icy, cold, and they don't know. That's the thing, is they leave before the night comes on, on purpose. Well, during that small window of time, the main character, Marin, main characters, there's basically three. Marin is a girl. Her twin brother's name is Kana. Their friend, Line, basically goes missing when as the boats are starting to come and everything. So Marin and Kana try to track down their friend and make it back to the ships before they leave the island, before the ships leave the island. But will they make it in time?
I don't know. Dun, dun, dun.
So, Elena, what did you like about this book?
There were certain traditions that they had to do before they were able to leave. I don't remember the details. You probably remember more.
I remember things and by tradition she means there are things that are part of their preparation for leaving, not just packing, but also preparing their houses.
Yeah.
Things I remember in one of the houses they had to put a bunch of giant knives into some kind of knife block on a mantle or something like that, hanging big metal things on a wall that are just like bizarre things.
And I think you had to like the floor plan. You had to make it like perfect to how it was or something maybe.
They all
I
had
remember chairs.
all of the houses and all of the they all had kind of strict rules and floor plans and stuff, and they had to get everything at the houses into this exact position or whatever before they left.
Exactly. And I thought and I kind of enjoyed how they kind of learned more about why they do them throughout the book, and also they just kind of learn about the island in general.
By they, she means these three.
The characters, Marin, Kana, and Line.
Who are all around 14, which means that they've lived their entire lives on Bliss.
Yeah.
Pretty much since the last time they came to Bliss. Sometime within that time. I don't know exactly how old they are, but...
And as I said before, I do enjoy horror, and I want to get into it more, but there were some aspects, but it wasn't like, it was more suspense than it was like horror, but I still enjoyed that part of it.
So that's one of the things I really liked about it too. It's a very atmospheric read.
Oh yeah.
This is probably one of the most atmospheric books, like most well written setting and giving you a feel of this darkness descending atmosphere that I've really ever read. I think that's one of the... I really got immersed in this book.
It was... the whole thing in general was, like, unique. Like, nothing like you've ever really read before. So I thought it was really interesting in that way.
I actually had some moments during this book that I got a little creeped out because authors did such a good job of giving you that dark feeling, like physical darkness, not like emotional darkness, but like actual the dark as the sun is sinking low and the woods are starting to come alive and everything's happening. It's
the woods coming alive. What? Sorry. I also enjoyed the Kana and Marin's like growing relationship throughout the book, because it doesn't start out as the best because of Line, and
who I think was like before he was really closer friends with Kana, but then as they got a little older he started to become more closer friends with with Marin.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that kind of thing can happen, but but that made Marin and her twin brother Kana. Yeah, there was some tension between them. But that relationship did evolve and grow during the book, and I agree it was a good part of the book.
And just the bonding between all three of them, honestly, I feel like it was very good. What about you?
I mean, I think we've pretty much touched on everything I liked about it. I liked it more than I thought I would because of the story. I liked a lot more than I thought I would because of that low rating on Goodreads. I had some predictions about what was going on, and there were a few twists, but if we're ready to move into what we didn't like about it, which I don't know if you really have anything.
I have like something small.
The issue is that I started to make predictions as the story developed, and they really were all kind of true. Like, it became a little too predictable for me in the end.
Which I think if I was more like into reading at that point, which I'm pretty sure it was like a few months before that I had really started to get into reading, I feel like I would have probably predicted more, but I think I was just going along with the flow much more than I do now, honestly.
So yeah, once it's revealed to us what's going on, which until that point, it really I was very into it, really like what is happening, and then I started to think, okay, I think I might know, and every new reveal was exactly what I thought it was going to be, and there were a few minor twists maybe that I didn't predict, but none of them were exciting enough to detract from the fact that I was starting to guess at everything. And then once kind of big reveals happened, they were a little too early in the book, and then there just wasn't a lot more suspense or intrigue left. Still, the atmosphere was still there, but I feel like it just kind of lost some of its intrigue and mystery.
Yeah.
I think they let us in on what was going on a little too soon.
Oh, well, it's not the longest book. I'm kidding.
I mean, percentage-wise, even.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to figure out everything that's going on at 65% and then have like 35% of then just the action of finishing what we already are aware of. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand. It's like in romance books when they get together so soon, and then there's like 100 pages left, and you're like,
well,
what's
clearly,
gonna happen?
No, see, I don't do that. I just go, oh, of course, something's gonna make them upset with each other, and then they'll have to overcome it, and it's usually something predictable or just stupid.
Yeah.
That makes me roll my eyes. So yeah.
the issue that I had with it was I felt like I remember feeling like I was confused for like some of the book and just like not understanding. But that might have been because I just read weirdly back then. But like,
Well, I mean, okay. So when I say that they revealed everything kind of a little too early. They didn't exactly reveal it quickly. It just that it was all then revealed a little too soon. So it definitely took a while to
really
do more than
understand.
just they're going through these rituals that they have to attend to before they leave the island, and we have no idea why.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there. I can understand what you're saying. There's definitely when I say that I had some predictions, I didn't have them right from the beginning by any means because
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't have any idea what was going on for a while. So it was like really confusing, really confusing, really confusing, starting to make sense. I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and then yep, that was it for the rest of the
Yeah.
book. So that maybe the pacing just could have been better.
Yeah.
And at the end, I get why they ended it the way they ended it. I'm not gonna, of course, give spoilers, but I get the ending. I get why they decided to end it where they did. I think there could have been a little more explained, but only because, but I understand not wanting to explain too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some of the stuff they left open just left me scratching my head, and
Yeah.
I don't, it's not like that doesn't ever happen in books, but I don't always enjoy it when it happens. So, Lena, what did you rate, or what would you? I don't know if you ever gave this a rating.
I didn't
exactly.
rate it, but I would give it 4.
4?
4.
Okay, that's not far off from mine, which is 3.5. I think that I liked it a lot. It fell short in the climax and conclusion for me, basically. I liked it enough then that when I do you remember when I came and told you all excited that there was another book?
Oh yeah.
Apparently they're not technically in a series because there's no series name and there's no real indication that like they're connected, but they're not. They don't seem to be like they're trying to make it clear that they're connected. I just happened to be looking up one or the other of the authors on Goodreads and saw another book that I thought looked like it could be another sci-fi kind of interesting book, and I looked at it and the synopsis starts out thousands of miles south of the island of Bliss. So I remember you were upstairs, I think, and I just remember coming to you and saying, Lena, there's another book. It's in the same world, at least. It doesn't have the same characters, but it is set in the same world. I fully plan to read that, and it's an odd 3.5 stars for me because I liked it and I want to read the next book, but I had issues enough to rate it down. So low. That's where I'm at.
Who do you recommend it to?
I really think, I recommended it to you. No, I didn't. You recommended it to me.
I recommended it to you, Mom.
Okay. I think anyone who enjoys darker, and I don't mean, that doesn't just mean darker as in the darkness of the,
Yes,
light.
I know what you mean.
Darker fantasies or speculative fiction written for a younger audience. I don't think you definitely don't have to be a teenager to enjoy this, because I enjoyed it. And I think that the things I didn't enjoy about it are not an age thing so much as just could have been better. Who would you recommend it for?
Maybe like 11 or 12 and up. Maybe 10 and up, but like I don't.
10? Wow.
Well, you said some things creeped you out, so like I don't want to freak out little kids.
I couldn't even tell you right now what it was, even if I wasn't worried about spoiling, because I don't remember exactly, but I do remember. It has probably had to do with the forest and as the darkness came on, the island kind of started to change, not just in the getting colder and icier and stuff, but definitely started to sort of wake up. I think it was sometime in there that there were times when, if I was reading it at night especially, I would get just little chills, so almost like you were saying that you were trying to justify why you said why you said no younger than 10, but I was like 10 seems young to me, but it might just be, I don't think there's anything bad in it, so I guess I don't know why I reacted that way anyway.
There's not even that much romance.
It's not really
any romance.
It's not really much in the way of romance. I think that's at least I remember that seemed to be the reason why Marin and Line were spending more time together, but it didn't really come to anything that would be an issue for anybody.
Which I was curious about it, which I guess I didn't really sure they like kind of grew closer together, but not seemingly in a romantic way.
So yeah, I think overall it's safe to say that even though we didn't rate it super high, we both would recommend this book to anybody that's interested.
Yay!
Okay.
It's a good book.
Okay.
Yep.
Hide.
I don't have anything to hide under.
I only said So I feel like I should explain that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
At the very end of the previous episode, Lena said, "Hide!" And then we ended it. And she said that because it's on the back of Nightfall, the actual book.
The excerpt. Never mind. What's the word?
Excerpt.
Oh, excerpt.
Yeah, the very end of it is the word "hide" in like a larger, bold scroll. Scrawl.
So I just I saw it and I was like, hide.
So anyway, what are we doing next, Lena?
Oh, okay. Next time, we are going to be doing The Giver by Lois Lowry.
Until next time, I'm Christy.
And I'm Lena.
And this is Generation Gap Book Reviews.